This is Wolfang here. Today is 6/8/2019. Had to think about it for a minute. Anyway, it's another dreary day in Cincinnati. I'm going to have to go back on some of the other videos I did and see if I make a mention on what our weather's like. I think I've only had 2 good weekends. But anyway, today I want to talk about prepping in an apartment and share some ideas with people that live in apartments out there. There's different reasons why we live in an apartment. Maybe just 2 people, they don't want to spend the money on a house. Maybe they don't want to do the yard work. Who knows? The reason we took the apartment, we've been here quite a long time. When Tracy and I met, of course, we were on a budget, and it was the cheapest 2-bedroom apartment we could find, and we just never left. So anyway, I think one of the biggest problems prepping in your apartment is trying to find space, because you've already got all your personal belongings. Now you're going to start adding extra stuff, all your preparedness, your food, your water, and whatever else you think you might need. So that's where totes come in. Even if you have to raise your bed up a little bit, you can use under your bed storage. Buy totes to put your stuff in, and when you buy those totes, label them so you don't have to keep taking the lid off. You'll already know what's in the totes. We have one spare closet in the spare room that I use to store. And your bathroom, if you have a decent closet in the bathroom, storing a little bit here and there. But if in your apartment, if you can build some type of shelving on maybe one side of the wall to stack stuff, and all apartments are different, so, but you have to think outside of the box when you start buying this stuff. Now, we're kind of lucky because the apartment that we live in, it is a secure apartment, but it's just 4 family. Now, if you live in one of those apartments where it's like 50 units, there's a lot of people. So I was also thinking about, if you're going to start prepping in your apartment, and when you buy your preps, do you have stuff mailed to you, or do you actually go to the store to buy them? Because if you start having packages show up at your door, neighbors are nosy. That's all I'm going to say. But you don't want people to, why all of a sudden they keep getting all these packages? Either that, or maybe set up a P.O. box. That way you can, go and pick them up at the post office yourself. But still, you're going to be walking in with packages, and people will see you. It's just something to think about. And let's see. The other one is the budget. I understand a lot of us live on budget. And as I said before, just buy a little bit here and a little bit there. You don't have to go out and spend hundreds of dollars or compulsive buys or anything like that. Make yourself a plan, make a list of things that you think you're going to need in your situation, because we all live in different areas. Some people may live out, where there's hardly anybody around. Where we live, we're surrounded by people. Which brings me to another thought. Now, if shit does hit the fan and you can't bug out and you have to stay in your apartment, make sure you know what's out there. If you have to cover your windows, or even go as far as putting plywood up, I don't know. These are just things I think about. But we live on the first floor, and that's kind of if it got crazy out there, wouldn't take anything, because we have a big picture window, if they wanted to crash into our place. So, if it got to that point, we wouldn't be staying here. We would bug out. There's a place that we can go. There's a couple. But think about that too. Have a plan for everything. Have a plan for your plan, because it will get chaotic, especially after Prepper Nurse 1 did his live chat last night. He did it on martial law, and we've talked a lot about the martial law, and when martial law hits, there's nothing. There's no constitution or anything anymore. So you will have to protect yourself. The next thing about prepping in the apartment, you can grow plants. You can grow herbs, tomatoes, stuff like that. Get a 5-gallon bucket, get some good soil, and the way I did my bucket, I drilled a few holes in the bottom of the bucket, and then I put rock in the bottom. It was the white decorative like rock that you put out in your garden. And I put some soil on that, and then a few more rocks, and then I filled it up with soil, and I planted my cherry tomato plants, and they grew crazy. It looked like a frickin' jungle in this apartment last summer. But the thing with that is, I'm in my back room, and we get the perfect sunlight through that window. So even in the wintertime, you can still grow. I haven't tried anything this year. I actually need to clean this room up a little bit. Shh, don't tell anybody. So anyway, you can grow food in your apartment. And just start with your basics, your food and your water. You can buy the cases of water, and they fit perfect in the closet. And that's another thing you want to keep in mind when you're storing your water. You want to keep it in a cool, dry place. You don't want to leave your water out where the sunlight can get to it, because it will go bad on you. It'll go stale. The next one is security. Where we live is kind of considered a hot spot in police talk. And it's because of the shootings and drug deals and shit like that go on. So I already know what's out there. And that's another reason if stuff got stupid, we would get out of here. It would be wise to not share information with neighbors on what you are doing as far as prepping, because it's not your family. It's not like you have a house and it's your wife or your husband and your kids. Maybe grandma or grandpa's living with you. You don't want your neighbors to know what you have, because that would put you at risk. The other thing is that, because I did read some articles about this, you're kind of at you're at more of a security risk living in an apartment just because of all the people. And it depends on how big your apartment building is. But like I said, if you got 50 units, I mean, just 3 people to each unit, it's usually probably more than that. But that's a lot of people just in that building right there. And if shit hits the fan, let's go power grid down. And it's down for a week. No power, so all the food in the fridge that is either ate up or has went bad. People are going to start going door to door knocking. Hey, can you help? Can you help? So your security, have some type of self-defense. I would recommend, I know people don't, there's a lot of people out there that don't like guns. I get that. But have something. Have something. You need protection. Get a decent sized deadbolt and put on your door. They also have these, there are poles that you put up underneath the door to keep your door, makes it harder for somebody to kick in your door. And like I said, if you can't board your windows up, at least keep your curtains closed. That way nobody can see in, especially if you live on the first floor. Another, well, can you identify threats that are around you? Do you have a neighbor down the hall that you hear, whether they're boyfriend or girlfriend, husband and wife, they're constantly yelling and screaming at each other? And if somebody's got a hot head or just bad attitude, stay away from people like that. Let's see what else did I write down here. Now, of course, you know, put a bug out bag. Always have a bug out bag. Always. If you can keep one in your car, keep one in your car, because while you're at work, something might happen. But always have a bug out bag. I got a few behind me. Let's see. Other than that, your bathroom, your toilet. You can flush that with a bucket of water. But depending on how long you're going to be stuck in your apartment, if there's no running water, you're not going to be able to flush it. Depends on how much water you've got stored, but I guarantee you the water we have stored, I didn't put in consideration using for the toilet. So that's your sanitation. That's something else that you need to think about. You know, even I'm taking a sponge bath. That's, you know, cleaning your armpits and your body parts. But think about that too. Other than that, that's all I can think about right now. But like I said, I look all this stuff up. Plus, I've especially the planting the tomatoes. That was my little experiment. And like I said, I'll tell you what, it really worked out good. I had cherry tomatoes forever. So I'll try a different vegetable and see how it works. But for the people that live in an apartment, even if you live or you're on a budget, you can do this. Just take your time. Like I said, sit down and make a list. Okay, well, I think I might need this. I might need this. Look stuff up online. Okay, for your water, to purify water, you can use bleach. And it's so many drops of bleach per gallon of water. That would help. And you would want the water to sit for a while before you drank it. Um, Other than that, just, like I said, look stuff up. It's there's a lot of information out there, a lot more than I realized. I know that much. So anyway, you guys have a good weekend. Blessed be. Stay safe. And I will chat with you all next weekend. Bye for now.